like me. He's got
I
his
have
phone.
It all
mixed
turned off.
number.
Okay, I'll go knock.
I don't know if he has a radio either. I can text him here, see if he answers.
Do you mind texting him and then I'll go knock
Yeah, I
if you
don't
don't
mind.
hear back? We'll get the stuff gathered so that it's a short
Roger.
wake for him.
So after this move, you want to turn south again?
I think
Yeah.
that's the plan.
So we'll just mow along.
I guess so.
I was thinking do a big box and then triangulate.
Yeah, we could.
That's kind of
Just
what I
keep
was thinking,
expanding.
but if we want to do a grid pattern, then that's fine too.
I guess we'll decide.
But I am noticing current is pushing me south, and you see how I keep drifting south.
Yep.
So I'm wondering, did the mooring go south of where we deployed it?
Well,
'Cause
we're
our
about to
deployment
go
point-
that way. Yeah, that'd be great.
Because our deployment point was where? That was
Right in the center here.
right in the center of where we currently are. So we turn around and head south next. We still have an overlap of,
Actually, our target was here. Our path was there. So 25-meter overlap.
oh, so we'll see it in a sonar if it's there. Good.
Yeah. All right, Atalanta's looking maybe settled, maybe not.
Want me to turn south, Dan?
I reckon.
Going south.
You don't want to go south. You want to be south of Atalanta.
Well, I'm just gonna turn and wait for Atalanta to come around, or
No, you want to be south of Atalanta. That's the way it's going to go.
so wait for Atalanta to come over top of me.
No, you want to be south of Atalanta. Figure it out. You're an ROV pilot.
Okay.
Or ask your navigator. You also want to take into account your tether turns. I think we've done a couple left turns there. But in theory, I'm chasing you around, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Atalanta is currently looking southwest-ish. You're going to have to go southeast, Danny. Or more east. Go too much further south, you're going to run out of leash. Is our 1911 depth still legit, Johan?
Yeah.
In theory, Atlanta's above its deepest, the deepest, assuming the bathy's
Yeah, there's no
legit.
bathy lines. But
Want to swing your head around there, Dan?
Got it. Atlanta is looking 180.
but they're 30-meter bathy lines, so
Yeah. Well, we're erring on the side of craziness, right? On the side of desperation.
Was that what you had in mind there, Dan?
Roger. Perfect.
All right, so I'll bump us 20 south.
Roger.
Bridge nav. Can we move 20 meters due south now, please? Thank you.
Mowing the lawn. It's a big lawn. It's more like mowing the pasture. The South 40. My coffee's kicking in, Danny. I'm going to step out for a bio break.
So do we want to throw a dot at the board and put money on where this thing might be?
Did you copy me, did you?
Yes, I did. Go ahead. So we'll just make 2 or 3 moves south and then...
Feel like we should get Dan to go and write the manifestation and put it into the manifestation box we have in the lounge.
Yeah, I'd like to change my
If
manifestation.
ever we needed a manifestation.
It is now.
Yuko, would you give up your future wealth manifestation for a mooring find?
Oh, that's such a hard question.
No, don't
No.
do it.
I don't think I will.
You're only on shift for another hour and a half.
I know. Sorry, everyone. I manifested, I will be wealthy in money, not
Money,
not-
to be clear,
to
not
be
any
very
other
clear.
way.
Well, I was told that my manifestation has to be like
Explicit.
explicit, so I said I want to be rich in money.
Canadian
Well, you're in the
dollars.
wrong industry for that.
No, that's
Oh.
not true.
Unless we find
can-
treasure
we
while we're
can't-
looking for this mooring.
No. We
Yeah,
can
Dangerous
doing
game, hey Anna.
science.
Wait, what?
So searching for treasure is a dangerous game.
It's
hey?
a dangerous game that I'm never gonna do again. And it wasn't even me. God. Just
It's okay, you signed an NDA, we don't have to talk about it.
if somebody approaches you and says, I've definitely 100% found a sunken treasure, don't believe them.
Rule number 1.
Yeah.
Wandering around in the dark with a flashlight.
Yeah. And like, if you guys in the front row need us to shush, just let us know, because I
mean,
really want to find this.
we're in such a high tension position right now. Like,
Wait, can I talk about fireflies?
it's not in here.
Oh my god, you guys.
Don't talk about fireflies. That song was stuck in my head all night.
Oh,
Well, you know,
man.
Danny, you're in charge now.
Bridge
so
nav.
just let us
Another
know.
20
Exactly.
meters south, please.
We're going south
Thanks,
now?
Oriel.
Yeah, we're mowing the lawn.
Alright.
Yeah,
So-
just tell us, hey, no butterflies, and we'll know what that means.
Yeah.
What? What does no butterflies mean?
Means no fun allowed. No,
Oh,
no
okay,
joyful
got it.
talk. Danny, you know what would have made it so that song wasn't stuck in your head? If we could talk and, like, you know, entertain you guys with our chatter.
It's this. I get it. It gets a little distracting for our pilot.
I just
Yeah.
realized Danny's the only pilot.
Yeah.
I am.
Sorry, it's
My van.
we are in between something right now.
Yeah.
You know, we got a couple solutions ongoing, so we'll fill the air.
Oh, this is great.
This is what we do best.
Yeah, exactly.
This is great. I'm living for this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, you know, let me just reframe it a little bit. It's not that we can't have fun. It's just work takes precedence.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
Work
I do
takes precedence.
respect that.
Yeah.
I do. And I'm just messing around being silly. I understand. We have
Nope,
priorities.
no targets.
Hey Dan, just tell us no butterflies if you need us to quiet down.
All right, I think we can handle it. It's up to Danny. Huh?
No, we can talk about whatever.
I'm over here la-di-da.
How's the chat looking?
It's very quiet. So we've been having some video streaming issues.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Still
so
ongoing, eh?
it is still ongoing, unfortunately. It's
Hmm.
I think we're on. It's been a couple days, but the onshore team is working on a solution for that. So our stream's been kind of a bit choppy.
Yeah, well, this isn't exactly the most exciting thing.
It's not, but you know.
It's going to go from 99% boredom to 100% excitement really fast here.
Exactly. So. This is like
yeah,
a
we're
0
gonna
to
come
100.
across this thing. We're just gonna come across this big balloon in the water column, and
yeah.
it's
and
gonna
get
be
tangled
amazing.
up with it, with Herc and
Yeah,
our
no
tether.
thanks.
Oh, I don't want that.
We've got pretty good eyes
don't need
around us. I think we'll see it on sonar
Okay.
way before we get tangled with it.
Well, that's good to know.
We should get a prize for whoever spots it first.
So when you left, I was talking about throwing darts at the board and making bets on
Great
where you
wealth.
think it
Is that the prize?
Great wealth. I would love that prize.
You know, money isn't everything.
Typically, it's been the navigator because the
I feel like it's going to be
SCFs
south.
and the pilots are all talking about fireflies, and the navigators over there paying attention.
I feel like we're going to find it south of the deployment site.
Dan, I was just saying to everyone, I should have asked you to write a manifestation and put it into the manifestation box in the lounge, that we can find this beacon sooner rather than later, or this
Yeah.
mooring.
Wait, he has to be more specific, though. He has to say that he wants to find it within the next hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
I
anyone.
wanted to find it within the
Bridge,
last hour.
bridge. Runway 20
You know how much this
south,
barge
please.
is costing me?
So for anyone that is just tuning in, we are still here, even though it's blue water.
We're out here.
We are here in the middle of the ocean. We are currently diving at Endeavour, and our current objective is to locate a 300-meter long mooring.
I don't think it's 300 meters.
Is it not 300?
300? Wait,
It's
I thought it was
235.
only
Sorry,
Hey, we have
230, something like
230.
235.
Sorry,
Who
not
told you?
not to make anyone panic.
On
It's
Atlanta.
230. So it's a
Maybe.
tall line with instruments on it, and we're just trying to find it and do a quick
Turn
check.
and look at it.
But unfortunately, our
Danny,
Huh?
beacon
turn
failed.
and look at
that.
it.
You know what? This has been a really a big lesson learned.
Turn and fly
We're
over
going
to
to
it.
thoroughly
See if it's a
check our
target.
beacons and test them in the water, but
Turn off auto
hey,
heading,
that's-
turn and look.
that's how you get more robust practices,
Cannot hear
right?
what you were saying.
If you think it's
sorry.
a target, turn and look at it. I think it's a ghost,
I
but
think it is too. I think it was a ghost to hook.
I definitely want to investigate any potential targets.
Yes.
Yeah, so our ROV pilot and navigator, they are using sonars on the ROV to try to locate the float that is at the top of this mooring. And our watch lead, AJ, is looking for an alternative solution to locate this by, I think, throwing something on. I actually don't know what AJ was looking for, or looking to do.
I don't know either.
Okay,
Stay tuned.
stay tuned.
Channel 2 or channel 1?
I heard Murphy's Law and I got a little scared. I don't
Fair.
like Murphy's Law.
Yeah, that's fair.
Could we throw the deck view onto the quad cam?
Sure. Yeah, in place of the map or in place of the front, do you think?
Let's do it in place of the map, because we've kind of been in the same location
Okay.
for a while now. I think the back deck view would be more interesting for our viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're watching on nautiluslive.org, channel 3 will have a quad view, so you get eyes on Hercules, Atalanta,
Want to do a
our
gauge check, Dan?
beautiful pilots in the front row, and the back deck
Let's,
now.
Johan, can you put one of the deck cams up somewhere? Or
You
whatever
can
one.
change out winch.
Or can, you can put it over there in front of you also if you want. It's up to you wherever you put it, just so we can, it'll help you coordinate you can see what's going on down there.
Yeah, this is almost like a game of Marco Polo, but your friends are not replying with polo.
You're
A
just
concerning game of Marco Polo.
It's like bullying.
Oh no, Anna.
It's like when we're playing Marco Polo, but
That
we're
red light
not
makes my
gonna-
nose look big.
What?
Huge.
Danny.
No.
You have a beautiful
No.
nose, Danny.
Oh,
And it's probably going to be cam port, I would guess. They're going to put it over the port side there.
Thank you, Beaver, for saying maybe it's just shy. Well, we needed to not be shy anymore.
You can get Anna to move the camera wherever you need it to be. So
What do you want me to move?
we're watching what Jeb's doing there on deck with the
Okay,
beacon,
so we
that
want...
they're going to
okay.
be putting something over the side.
Alright, copy that.
And Johan needs to see what they're doing so he can coordinate with the bridge. The bridge can also see that camera. So they've got a dunker there on a reel.
huh?
Do you mind if I take your starboard cam?
Go
Yeah,
for
you
it.
can take
Which would be
starboard
best?
cam.
So what's the plane on the back deck?
So they're going to use an acoustic transponder that is connected to the acoustic release, which is the kind of what's keeping the mooring down. And they're going to ping it with the transponder and see if we can get basically a range of where it could be. A
Oh,
bearing.
cool.
If you look to the right a little with your camera view, you'll see a red thing that he just laid there on the deck.
Deck reading you loud and clear.
Look to your right a bit, Anna. We're looking at that camera.
Oh, copy. I'm looking at cam A mid.
No, we're using cam port up here.
Okay.
Send that one out if you want to. Right, just a bit more. More. So you see that roller there on the side that we use to deploy the moorings?
Uh-huh.
They're probably going to hang that red thing that's laying there on the deck in the bottom right corner of the picture.
Copy that.
That's a transponder that talks to the acoustic release on the
Is the
mooring.
ship pretty well over the deployment site?
The ship is probably 40 meters from the deployment site.
Okay.
45.
That will give them the best option of being able to hit it with that beacon.
Assuming it's there, yeah.
You want to try interrogating it again, or you
No,
think
not
it's...
while they're doing the transponder thing.
Okay.
So that that device that they're squatting over the deck is the controller inside of a Pelican case, and it should, in theory, give us what we call a slant range, or how far away it is and what angle it is. It might just give a total, just a linear range, so we can work out where we think how far away from the ship it might be.
Yeah, so for our viewers, if you head over to satellite feed 3, you can see the action on the back deck. So So on the back deck is Jeb and AJ. What's the longest time you've spent searching for a specific equipment or cable or critter, Dan?
Days and days.
Days and days?
Yeah. Spanning several shifts for sure.
And what were you looking for?
Probably one of the most painful ones we were is looking for a subsea cable with a brand new trenching vehicle. So big 500 horsepower vehicle with a cable tracker on it. So everything's brand new. So everything in theory works, but it's never been tested in the field before. And we put down a piece of test cable, and the ROV buried it a meter or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were meant to test the passive cable tracker and go find it and track it. And we couldn't find it. We had no idea where it was.
Oh my gosh.
And so at that point, you know, we're on a $100,000 a day vessel, and we have the client rep on board, potential clients, a handful of them. So the ship is, you know, we're paying for the ship at that point, not the client.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we're looking around for this cable and we can't find it.
Brutal.
So flying around in the mud for days.
Was there anything interesting during that?
No.
Just mud?
Yeah, just mud.
Yeah, yeah.
So we go out to a place where there's, you know, nothing around.
Oh man. Where was this? Oh.
It's off the west coast.
Mm.
Copy that.
Dan, can you hand me my drink?
Okay. Dan and Danny, what do you guys think about potentially coming down a little bit, just seeing if we're off in altitude potentially, and then come back up and continue on?
Yeah, we can come down.
If the ship and Atalanta aren't moving, I'm happy to
They are both stable.
ride it. That makes sense, because then when they're ready, we won't be moving. Coming down.
Going down.
Johan, can you put the winch up
Yes, definitely.
on one of my panels over here? Maybe the bottom left one there, next to the gauges.
Yeah. Probably take over the wrench wire.
Is that a
Here, I'll make it
Two?
easy. I'll make it easy for you. All right, and you can put your deck cam back up
Okay.
somewhere.
Put that cam back in
Roger.
Feels like I'm playing a video game because I'm in third-person view right now.
We're really just all video game characters.
No, seriously, I'm playing third person right now. And then flying Hercules, but I'm at Atlanta view.
Any good video game recommendations lately?
I don't know. I got back into Fallout 4 right before this trip. Anyone see the Fallout TV show?
Yeah, it was really good.
I liked it.
I
I
really
think they did a
enjoyed
really good job of bringing to life the whole lore and the world of Fallout.
Yeah, I think I like low-key fell in love with what's her name, Lucy Purnell, the main actress.
Lucy is awesome,
Yeah, she was so good.
but
Are we talking about a show?
Yeah, Fallout.
Oh.
Ghoul had to be my favorite character though.
Yeah. That was the last TV show I watched before coming on board.
How deep are you going, Dan?
I don't know.
Let's go to the, I don't know,
1942 right now.
maybe another 10 more. Probably deeper than we need to.
I mean, the southwest current.
From or to? Wind comes from, a river flows to.
Well, it seems
Or
like the
with.
currents push me southwest is what.
Yeah. Probably where the beacon is. We haven't been off to the west yet, have we?
Nope.
Well, since it ain't to the east.
Can
We're
you say
looking
that
all the way
again?
west.
Seems like the world is waking up. We're getting questions trickling in again about what we're doing. Is this a good time for me to do another quick overview?
Yeah.
Of course.
Thanks, pilots. So we are currently diving at Endeavour. We are almost 2 kilometers under the surface of the ocean. You might notice we are floating in blue water, and that is because we are searching for a mooring. It's about
I'll stop
200,
1950.
about 230, 250 meters tall. We deployed so many moorings that I'm getting my numbers mixed up.
230.
230, thanks, Dan. And unfortunately, the beacon that is on this mooring is not doing its job. So we are flying a wee bit blind through the water column searching for it. We were making the analogies like this is searching for a needle in a haystack, or searching for your car in a large parking lot with just a flashlight.
I like to think of it as treasure hunting.
Treasure hunting.
It's a lot what treasure hunting is like.
Yeah, looking
Yeah,
for...
you asked earlier what the longest time I spent looking for something was. So on this particular boat, I spent an entire expedition looking for the Simone Clipper.
Oh, yes.
And then the following expedition, they spent an entire expedition looking for Amelia Earhart's airplane.
What's the most, I guess, amazing thing you found on one of your expeditions?
Oh, so many to choose from.
Your top, your top.
Probably for me was we came across a beaked whale jaw, which is a fossil. It's probably about, oh, I don't know, almost a meter long. And like millions of years old, so it was encrusted with, I always forget the word. It's all the encrusting.
Manganese.
Yeah, manganese. So in certain waters, especially in around Danny's neck of the woods, all the rocks are encrusted with manganese, and I think it grows, it's like millimeters per million years. And it basically leaches minerals from the seawater and forms a hard manganese coating on everything. Rocks, dead sponges, and whale bones.
That's really cool.
So we actually had a permit in this case to recover the fossil, which we did. It was too big to put in any of our sample boxes, so we carried it around in our manipulator for the remainder of the dive, being very careful not to, bump it on anything or damage it.
That's kind of scary. Like, was it not very fragile? It was totally okay being carried around?
Yeah, it's basically a rock at that point, right? It's like petrified wood, the subsea version of petrified wood. The manganese is, it's really hard, but you can chip it or damage it with the manipulator. So, yeah, no pressure at all. We carrying around this fossil from, I forget what prehistoric age they determined it was from. Scientists were very excited.
Do you think we should come back up to go over this area?
Yeah, we should come back up to our 10 meters above the deepest.
Roger. All right.
So we're going to go west?
I was thinking maybe another bump south.
Yeah.
Another bump south?
Yeah, I think so.
This is the furthest we're seeing.
We'll come back up first to...
yeah.
Coming up, Danny. The funny part was, so there's always friendly arguments between the biologists and geologists on the vessel. So we have several sayings. One of them is geology is cool, but biology is beautiful. So when we're sampling, they're often at odds because, we could put a lot of rocks in the sample box, or we could put some delicate biology in the sample box, but putting both in obviously is, you can see the conflict of interest there.
I can imagine some very spicy conversations.
Yeah, they do. They don't get too spicy, we're pretty civilized out here, but one of the spicier conversations I've witnessed was over this fossilized whale bone, whale beak.
Yeah, is it a biology sample or is it a geology sample?
Yeah, indeed. So it went on for days because, so it's like, okay, where's this sample going to go? We got this really cool sample, right? And then where's it going to go? What museum or laboratory or where's it going to wind up? Who gets to study it first?
Where did it end up going?
It wound up going where all of our rocks go, to Rhode Island and the repository there, which they go all over the world. They get checked out like a library book, and one institution will request the sample or part of the sample to study. But what took the day? What am I? 1911 again?
Yeah, 1911 would be about 14, 12 meters above.
Atlantis, all stop 1911.
Oh, just to address this question really quick, we are actually using sonars on the ROVs to help us locate this float. We just haven't been able to pick it up on the sonars. So if you go to satellite feed number 3, you will see a view of the back deck, and that's because 2 of our Ocean Networks Canada engineers, wow, I'm so tired. AJ, not DJ, AJ, and Jeb will be lowering a acoustic transponder to try to talk to the beacon that is not responding right now.
All right, are you guys ready to move?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess so.
20 due south. Bridge nav. 20 meters south, please. Thank you.
And throughout the expedition, you might notice us kind of just checking in with the rest of the control van, whether or not it's a good time to chit-chat and answer questions. And that's because a lot of the operations and dives with Ocean Networks Canada is operations heavy. So we do a lot of deep sea engineering work, which includes a lot of precise and delicate maneuvering of the ROVs. So we want to make sure we leave space for our pilots and navigator and dive lead to work efficiently and able to concentrate. Oh, here comes Jeb and AJ on the back deck. And if you're wondering why we have these kind of operations, Ocean Networks Canada operates a 800-kilometer loop of fiber optic cable that connects thousands of underwater sensors. So these sensors collect information and data on water temperature, salinity, depth. We have seismic sensors, cameras, hydrophones, all sorts of different types of data. And all of this data is streamed from this fiber optic cable loop back to shore and made available online for anyone in the world to use. Our data is free to use, and you can access it on data.oceannetworks.ca. And I believe we have 1.5 petabyte of data archived, and we collect 300 gigabytes of data every day, approximately.
Don't forget to cite your data too if you use it.
Thanks, Steph. It is very important to cite your data as well.
It is. You know, it's not just great for ONC, of course, you know, but it's also for open science, which is, I think, a big reason why we're all here.
Yes.
OET has that mission too, so.
Yeah. Do you know, are you familiar enough to talk about the
What was that?
fair?
You doing some trigonometry over there?
Oh, I know fair.
I'm just,
Let's hold on that for just a
Sure.
sec there. Yeah.
Yeah.
the trail of Hercules is starting to time out, which means that we're kind of losing some of our history.
Can't we
You
have
can't-
a track plotted up on NavG, or
We can,
does it disappear after a while?
but yeah, the problem is that if we changed it to track on USBL, then it would get pretty messy, and we wouldn't be able to reset that without closing the whole program.
Okay.
So if we ended up finding it,
No bueno.
we would have to
Typically
make that shift.
Typically that track is from the DVL.
Copy. Deck, go for nav. Copy that. The ship is stable, but stand by for confirmation. You guys are ready?
Yeah, you gotta check with the bridge. Let them know we're putting something over the side.
Copy. Bridge, nav. Hi, Oriel. Permission to hang a beacon off the side of your starboard
Port side.
port deck. Thank you. break, deck, permission to, you can drop the beacon.
Permission to deploy.
That's the words I'm looking for. Copy that, standing by.
You got to command them. Johan, you're in charge here.
Drop it.
Deploy the beacon.
Deploy the transponder. The transducer is actually what it is.
Yeah.
It is a deucer.
And during this part of the operations, would you prefer if SPL stays a bit quieter?
No, you guys can talk.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. This is my first time
You're
seeing
doing
this.
a great job of reading the room there. You can tell when we're busy and when we're bored.
Yeah, it was a bit of a learning curve at the at the beginning, but I think I'm starting to read the room, learning to read the room.
Usually the SPL gets it in the third week.
Yes, yes. And the third week is
No
our
time like
last
the
week.
present.
No time like the present, exactly.
At least we get it.
Well, some of them get it in the third week, some never do.
Well, I would love to swing the question over to Steph to talk a bit about trust and fair, which are acronyms.
Yeah, I always forget. Hold on, let me look up trust. There's also care.
Oh my gosh. And these are all principles in basically data management and sound
Yeah.
data management.
I think they all, like, fair means that data is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. So that's like...
Say that acronym again, Steph?
It's findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable.
What is
Interoperable?
Interoperable is like between different machines. So like computers can communicate with each other and things like that. So using like standards, vocabularies, like metadata schemes, things like that. So
sorry that my reptile brain's still processing that word.
Interoperable.
That's okay.
Interoperable.
I've spent a
Thank
lot
you.
of time thinking about these things, so it's yeah.
Acronyms?
Yeah, well, also just fair and stuff like that. That's
It's kind of our bread and butter for our data stuff.
Seeing if I had another color.
yeah, it's super important.
It's
We
not
had a bunch of blue ones.
ONC has taken like a big initiative, even like before I started, to really push for this. I think which is really cool. So we yeah, try and make, I mean, all of our data, well, except for some, I mean, there's some restrictions on data, but that's like for national
Special
security
case.
or if
Yeah.
our indigenous data partners want some restrictions on it. But otherwise, our data is openly available.
Confirms, ready when you are.
Maybe we'll get some action.
Roger, commence transmitting.
Yeah, I gotta get my radio confidence down.
As long as you're not over
Sound great,
on it
Johan.
at the end of every sentence, we're good. That
One
drives
of
me
the-
crazy.
One of the secrets is, yeah, brief, but if you don't have a reply or you don't know, or you got to ask a question, you just come back with a standby, or Roger, standby, or something like that, so the guys on the deck aren't like, did he hear me?
You can also do a double mic click.
Not allowed. You can do a Roger, Roger.
Roger, roger.
So, Steph, I heard a number, 30 gig a day,
I think it was 300.
300
gig
a day, yeah.
So how much of that, just curious, is video and how much is like, you know,
Oof.
telemetry?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We have like so many devices that are serially streaming data, just like, I don't know, log files, audio, video, like there's so much that makes that up. And
is that limited by bandwidth? Or?
Go for now.
Oh.
Copy.
I think in some instances, but it's hard to say. So within our teams, we have different responsibilities for different instruments because there's just such a wide array of things that we work with, different instruments. So we have what are called instrument point people, and we get assigned to different things. So we all become specialists in our own little areas. Because yeah, it's just too much for one person to know. And you know, I've been at ONC about 1.5 years now, a little longer. And I'm still learning things all the time. It's a vast network that we have, and there's a lot of fine details to learn.
Yeah, and it's insane. I didn't even know you could cite data the way that we do until I joined ONC. But I would love to see a pie chart one of these days looking at how, like, what kind of data makes up a large percentage of what we archive.
Yeah, yeah, I wonder if we have that somewhere. I don't know exactly. But we have some really cool like infographics that we use a lot for our presentations. I think we have something like 9,000 different instruments. So it's hard to say exactly where that's coming from, but yeah.
So you guys must have like a petabyte server or something, right? You guys have to have petabytes of data.
Yeah, it's 1.5 petabytes of data archived, I think is my current number.
That is an insane amount of data.
Sure is.
Yeah, and
It would take a lifetime to like scroll through that amount of data.
Yeah, I mean it's available there if you want to see all we got, but we also do a lot of versioning for our data. So we've taken on different guidelines by the Research Data Alliance. And some of those things is, yeah, so if we make changes like we have to post-process data or we have to change like a calibration file or a formula, then we will version that data set and we'll update that on our data set landing page. So that's where you can like reference the data, get all the information about it, and if anything changes, we will version that. And we're not, as far as I know, I think we're not always storing the old data, but we have all that information available. Because if we started storing every change that we made, then that
crazy.
petabyte would quickly grow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so what we're doing out here for this expedition is to make sure all of our sensors are working correctly. We're doing our maintenance and annual service to make sure that we continue to collect these data. Yeah, and I really like the TRUST acronym that we have for our data, the TRUST principles: transparency, responsibility, user focus, sustainability, technology. So that is a,
Cool.
yeah, it's a guide for repositories. Is that right, Steph?
Yeah, and if I can throw another acronym at you.
We love acronyms.
We also try and follow the CARE principles, and those are for Indigenous data governance. And CARE means collective benefit, authority to control, responsibility, and ethics. So it's all these acronyms, but really these practices that inform how we manage our data. Yeah. And it's a big undertaking. It's not just data stewardship. You know, it's software, it's project management, it's how we engage with the communities, how we engage with our users. It's science, it's engineering. Like there's
a lot behind the scenes.
Everyone touches on it in some way.
It sure has come a long way. I remember in the early days when we were building this infrastructure, it's like, oh my gosh, what do we do with all this data?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge question for new organizations. I mean it can quickly get out of hand. So it's having a solid backbone makes your life a lot easier.
What do we do with it? How do we allow access to it? You guys have taken it to the next level there, big time.
Yeah.
I'm super proud to be working at Ocean Networks because there's so many steps being taken to be like transparent about the way we do things.
Yeah, and that's why, you know, I make the plug like cite your data, cite our data, because it's not just for our benefit. I mean, of course, we want to show that. I mean, it's nice to show that people are using our data and like it's useful to the public, but it also feeds into this reusability, which is probably the most important facet of FAIR, is that people can reuse the data and exactly the same data that you use to do your research, so we can replicate and really have robust science.
Good science has a repeatable method.
Yes.
How many people are involved in that now?
Ooh, how big is the data stewardship team?
Uh, data, ooh, I don't know. We recently split off into 3 different teams because we were growing so much and it was kind of too much for one person to manage. Raina Jenkins, who was the old data stewardship manager, she left actually to go join the, what's it called, the World Data Systems?
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, a fantastic role for her because she's like a walking encyclopedia on data management. And then with that, we split up into the GIS team, which Cassie, who is the other data logger on this expedition, leads. We have a data stewardship operations team, which is probably the biggest one. I'm not sure exactly how many people are on it, maybe 12 or 13. There's
Sounds
maybe
about it, yeah.
6 people on GIS, and then there's the research data management team, which has 5 people, so 25 or so people in
Yeah,
total.
but that's not including our DAC team, which is the
Data
and
analytics and quality. So
thank
yeah,
you.
that's a separate team, and there's, I don't know, but yeah, I think, I mean, yeah, I haven't been around that long, but it's the teams have grown a lot.
Yeah, we're bursting at the seams for desk space in the office right now.
Yeah.
And you guys are funded by the government,
Partially, yeah.
partially.
Yeah, so we're publicly funded. We are an initiative of the University of Victoria. So I believe majority of our funding is from the Canadian federal government, but we also have other grants that support our different projects, which we have a lot of projects at ONC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got a question here asking, any way to get a job at ONC? So we all of our job postings are available on our website. That's where you'll get the most up-to-date information. And anytime we have a job opening, we always throw it up on our social media. So LinkedIn is a great place to get that information, as well as Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, and we have an IT IT team at ONC as well, who supports us really, really well.
Yeah, and our systems team as well. We call on them a lot, sometimes in the middle of the night, to power on and power off different devices. So it's a big effort. Everyone knows when it's expedition season.
Yep. Yeah, like even now we have our data loggers on shore in Victoria working. I think they do 6-hour shifts. Is that right?
They do 7-hour shifts,
7-hour shifts?
with a little bit of handover on either side.
Go for nav.
Woo!
Copy that, 2131.8 meters. That's, is that horizontal distance then? Because that's our water depth.
That's slant range.
That's the bottom.
Well, I guess it's 230 meters off the bottom.
So it's right under us, right under them.
The beacon replied finally. Marco.
Hello.
That's the acoustic release that replied, so we now have a, from the, Johan's good at trig,
So what's our target?
from the folks standing on the back deck there, where that beacon's hanging over, how many meters do they have it down? That would be a good number to have.
Yeah.
And it could be down 20 meters or 100 meters, who knows how much cable's on there. Probably not more than 20 or so. That's a direct line from the transducer that's hanging over to the side of the ship to the acoustic release, which is somewhere on the mooring, which is another piece of information we don't, I don't have.
Deck, go for nav. Deck, can you tell us the depth of the transducer?
Come on, AJ, wing it. Make up a number.
We see you thinking.
So he should have said standby. Roger, standby.
Yep.
We're also getting a lesson in radio etiquette.
And then also there's, so that number is going to be plus or minus.
Copy that. An approximate number is fine.
Since we have a 20.
Copy. Recovering now.
There's some error involved with this whole operation. So a typical number I use is 1% of water depth for our USBL system. So that has to do with the speed of sound, temperature, salinity. And so if we apply that plus or minus factor, and then we also have our bathymetry that we're using currently, the map that Johan has in front of him also has some resolution. So typically in this water depth, that's going to be 75 or 100 meter resolution. So you add all those numbers up and it can be quite a large number. So if I'm not sure what the depth resolution on the bathymetry is, but
Neither am I. This might be the AUV map, although it looks pretty big.
But if you pick a number there, the depth of the beacon is probably within that error. But it's nice to have some numbers to plus or minus from.
Roger.
What was the number they gave you, Johan?
2131.8.
Roger.
So I got a 911 meter lateral distance, but that seems high.
2131. Sorry, I'll give you. Got to plug that number in the right place.
Can you repeat that?
Oh, I'm just plugging that. So we have
Yeah.
hypotenuse 2131. Height is the acoustic release is probably close to the seabed depth, so we're 80 meters up. So
that's a good
round
point.
that up. So 2,000. Well, the height would be 2,000. Come on, app.
I don't think we're pinging the bottom. I think we're higher.
Stand by. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, a height of the beacon on the mooring is a variable.
It is a variable. But just assume our water depth here is 2,000. That's a good number.
2163.
Huh?
2163 is the target water depth, yeah.
Roger. I get 2 clicks. What do you come up with?
I had the beacon at the top of the float, which isn't correct in my math. So
yeah,
redoing it.
The acoustic release is going to be close to the seabed.
Totally, yeah. That makes a lot more sense.
We had a lot of cable out.
Deck, go for nav. Copy that, thank you.
2,000
Bridge
meters.
control.
That doesn't seem right.
All equipment is recovered and on deck.
Just do hand over hand, 6 feet at a time.
Yeah,
1,
no
2.
doubt. So I plugged in a hypotenuse at 2130 and oh, that's what I messed up that one. 216.
I'm always so amazed at how fast everyone on the ship can do math.
A lot faster than I can. I'm
Not everyone.
horrible at math.
We do suck toe quite
I
a
mean
bit.
me, by the way. Guys. I wasn't trying to, like, it wasn't a dig at anyone else.
I mean, to be fair, a navigator has like
2161 and 2030, right? 2160 and
2161 and 2131. Yeah, I'm a little confused, honestly, on how our hypotenuse would be longer than our
I'm
shorter than our depth.
I messed up. 21. Just round up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I write words for a living.
a navigator over here. It's
That's
like
fair.
working on his. You're working on your PhD, or you have your PhD?
Working on PhD.
Working on a PhD. So he's probably the smartest one in the room right now.
I don't know about that.
Okay, most educated.
Sat in a classroom longest, maybe.
Maybe we can figure out how to work my trig app because it's currently not looking nice.
There's a trigonometry app? I guess there's an app for everything.
Yeah, I failed math horribly, so that's how I cheat.
You could have fooled me, Dan.
I'm just a bus driver at this point.
A very expensive bus with a lot of fancy parts. And no people. That's the important part.
Just point me where to go, and I'll go there.
This is when it is rather apparent when my app won't work and I can't figure it out with a calculator.
Someone did suggest ChatGPT.
Yeah.
If you ever want to see what your resume looks like, just type in your, just drop your resume in ChatGPT, and it'll give you a full summary of your entire career.
It's honestly a little scary, eh?
I mean, I wish I had ChatGPT for writing cover letters like 10 years ago.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I just want to share this this reference because I really like Lord of the Rings. I always hear Return of the King, light the beacons, when you talk about them, them being the beacons.
Yeah.
Not enough information.
It's kind of that critical here, too.
Yeah, it is.
We really need those beacons.
They're really getting an exact length on this, aren't they?
They're trying, but it is a lot of cable, so.
Duh, you can't calculate that. You need some more information.
I have a viewer asking what was the slant angle, and I don't know if we can. Do we have that information? What was the
That's
slant
what we're trying
angle?
to work out. So what we typically refer to as slant range here is, so we're getting a range to the beacon, right? And it's not directly under the ship. It is the seaside of a right triangle, basically. So we have the A side. We know that there's 2,160 meters of water underneath the ship. And we have the C side. We know that The range to the beacon is 2,030 meters. So we need one more piece of information to complete the calculation.
Well, we know
Just
it
tell them to
should
put
be
it back in and we'll move ahead 20 meters and get another ping on it.
right triangle.
Yeah, so we know C is approximately 90 degrees angle C, right? But we don't know what the base is, or the bottom side. That's the one. That's the number we want.
Well, can't we still C squared equals A squared plus B squared?
What number do you come up with there?
Not a good one, because our depth is longer than our slant.
Yeah. It's not computing.
So I'm hoping they
well,
put out like 50 meters of this thing.
Let's go old school imperial. Let's move the boat X meters south to the bottom of our pattern here, our grid range. So we went north so many, then we went east. Now we're going south. So we'll mark this spot, then we'll move south, whatever, 50 meters, and we'll ping it again and see if we get closer or further away.
Sounds good to me.
No math required.
Let the let the deck know. That way they don't put it away.
Yeah, tell them we're going to do it again.
Copy.
We don't believe them.
Are they about to call us though? No. Deck control. Copy. We are going to move the ship about 50 meters south, and then we'll be probably taking another transducer reading. Thanks.
You can hear the disdain in his voice.
Well, it's pretty cold out there.
Bridge nav.
Yeah, that.
Can we move 50 meters due south, please? Thank you.
That's a bogus number, Johan. If you think about it, it can't be, the range to the beacon can't be less than the water depth under the ship. It has to be more. So
Exactly.
that's why it does not compute.
Yep. That's why I'm hoping that they put out 50 meters of cable or something. And
Right. Did they give you a number?
not yet. They're doing math of their own.
Ask them what they thought it was.
I think they're about to call. Deck, go for nav. Copy that, 62 meters.
Well, that gets it a little closer to right under us.
Yes, it does.
Where is it, Danny? You should be able to see it.
You should be able to. So 62 minus the number they gave us. That should be the depth we should be at. Add in the height of the beacon,
It should
height
be
of
right
the
under us.
mooring. It probably is right under us.
It's within the air range. All right.
Well, Atalanta, I keep seeing a ghost right next to Hercules.
Yeah, that's true. Probably your tether, but one way to figure that out is,
Turn your head.
yeah, change Atalanta setting a little and see what happens. Change it 20 degrees to starboard, for example.
So for a water depth of
It's just me.
2161, I calculated that that gives us a 400 meter radius.
400, oh my God, that's painful.
Yes, it is.
We're going to be here all night, folks.
But if we can triangulate.
Yeah, I think moving south and doing another. Kidding, we need more data.
How long would it take us to cover 400 meter of...
Forever.
Forever. Okay.
For example, on this watch so far, we've covered, I don't know, what do we do,
Like
50 meters north?
No.
50 east?
Yeah, so
Oh my
Like
god. Okay.
Or since I've been in here.
200 by 250 meters square.
That was approximately 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buckle up, everybody.
Well, that's easy math. So our transit speed is basically, I'll put it in a number you can compute, 10 meters a minute.
Mm.
And the width of Nautilus that you're seeing on the back deck there, where the engineers are standing, is approximately 10 meters. And so if you took a full minute to walk across the deck, I could crawl across the deck in less than a minute, probably. I would have bloody knees because we have non-skid on the deck, but
Oh, God.
a snail could probably make it across the deck in a minute.
Yeah. Okay. That's a really, really great example, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. What moves at an average speed of 10 meters a minute besides Hercules?
Well, quick.
Actually, Hercules can go faster. It's Atalanta that is the...
That's funny because Atalanta was the fastest deity in Greek mythology at foot races.
Yeah, the huntress. Gotta be fast
That's
to be a hunter.
It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah. I highly suggest looking at just read some stories about her. It's pretty funny. She's a cool character.
Mm-hmm.
Atalanta can actually move faster. It's, you know, in our case, it's just hanging on a wire. The ship can, depending on the weather, it can, it's holding what you call dynamic position, so it's using satellites and GPS to maintain its position and move around in an XY. You know, 10 meters here, 20 meters there. But that pendulum, that 2,000 meters of wire hanging off the back of the ship, it has to move through the seawater. So if we do move the ship faster, then we get a huge offset.
Johan, can you fix my nav screen when you get a second?
Yes, sorry.
So it's the cable that's slowing us down.
We can actually, we can get Atalanta 400 meters away from the ship. If we took off, if the ship took off right now at a knot, for example, to the south, it could be 400 meters away from Atalanta before we saw Atalanta start to move 2 kilometers below the ship.
Wow.
The gotcha there is, if, for example, there was a 230 tall mooring in between us, Atalanta, and the ship, you know, there's no way to stop it because it's a pendulum and it's got 5,000 pounds hanging off at 4,000 pounds, so it's gonna swing in. So the only thing we can do in that case is come up. So the question is, can you come up?
We know the depth of the buoy now, right? Of the beacon, right?
Of the
depth
the release.
To the release.
We know
the height of the beacon.
No,
I mean the height of the buoy.
We don't know any of that. We know the range. We have 2 measurements of a range to the release.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used.
So we don't know the actual depth of the beacon.
No, because of the. It's not flat underneath us. It's some pretty rugged terrain, right? It's basically a valley down there. Mountains.
Makes sense.
Right. Yeah. My number is totally off if we assume that it's this way instead of that way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the bottom of the triangle is not flat.
No.
Who knows? Maybe this thing tumbled down a hill and tied itself in a knot.
Oh, no.
I hope not.
Don't
Maybe
say
it never
that.
hit the bottom and it's headed towards Oregon.
You know, I've seen that happen before.
Yeah.
It didn't put enough weight on its stack, and it made it about halfway down and quit descending.
Lots of variables.
That's what makes our job hard.
That's what makes it fun.
That's why we have ocean engineers figure this stuff out.
Okay, that ship move is complete.
So a quick around the control room. Someone's just asking who we all are. In the front row, we have Johan in the corner there as our navigator. In the middle, we have Danny, who is controlling or piloting the ROV Hercules. And then we have Dan, backseat driver. I'm kidding.
Total backseat driver. One of the worst ones ever.
Who is also one of our ROV pilots, who I think, are you working at Atlanta right now, Dan?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. And then in
Supposed to be anyways.
in the far, far corner in the darkness is Anna, who is our video engineer, who is lovingly just moving cameras onto the deck because we have nothing to see right now.
Busy night for me.
And then in the back row, you have...
In the other dark corner.
In the other dark corner that I don't think you can see right now is Steph, who is our data logger.
Hello.
Usually between myself and Steph is our watch lead, and tonight it's AJ, but he is currently on the back deck.
Hey, wait a minute. We're unsupervised at the moment.
Oh, we are not supervised at the moment, no. And I'm Yuko, and I am the science communicator for the next 30 minutes before someone comes relieve me.
3 minutes?
30 minutes.
Oh.
Less than, 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are sailing just off the coast of Vancouver Island. We are currently
Just off? I don't know.
Actually, I guess
Like 300 kilometers
300
away.
kilometers away. That's just
However many
off.
bananas that is, I don't know.
I thought you said we were failing just off the coast of Vancouver.
Oh, no, not failing, sailing.
Failing.
I don't want to be failing.
Failing to find the beacon.
Yeah,
We will find it.
We will find the beacon.
We're going to manifest finding it.
Yeah, so we are having a bit of trouble locating a 230 meter tall long mooring that we deployed earlier in the cruise. There is a beacon on it, but unfortunately the beacon is not replying Polo when we call Marco from the ship. So on the back deck, our engineer AJ and Jeb, and I believe ROV pilot Jake, they are putting a transducer, pardon my terms, I'm just learning all of these new terms as well, putting a transducer into the water to try to get a signal from something called an acoustic release that's on the mooring. What this is, the acoustic release is when we put a signal into the water column and the acoustic release receives it, it lets go of the mooring, and the mooring has a giant floating ball at the very top, which will bring the whole line full of instrument packages back to the surface for us to collect. We are not recovering this mooring. We are trying to locate it. It's I believe, a health check of sorts on all of the instrument packages.
Yeah, when we get there, we've actually started doing something new this cruise where we get reference surveys of all the CTDs. So it really helps our data team kind of calibrate and make sure that all the data are, like all the readings kind of make sense. At least, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the
What is a CTD and what does that tell us?
Oh, that's a conductivity, temperature, and depth.
Show conductivity, so how's, oh, here we're hearing from the deck. Oh, Johan's off, SPL.
Yeah, I think some people might not like it, but basically salinity.
How salty the ocean is. And then temperature, and then depth tells us a lot about pressure.
Yep.
And just for some reference, it is 3:43 a.m. local time right now. So if you're tuning in from anywhere on the West Coast, it's a pretty early morning for you.
You're really committed to watching our ops.
Yeah, oh, we have viewers from US, UK, Netherlands, France, Germany, Canada, Singapore, Portugal, Spain, China, Belgium, Australia, Austria, and Kuwait
Wow.
tonight.
Kuwait,
Oh,
that's a
man.
new one.
I know.
Well, thanks for tuning in.
Hello from...
I hope we don't have to Kuwait too long to find this mooring.
Oh my God, Steph.
Wow.
It's, as Yuko just said, it's 3:44 in the morning, so if Yuko can make the good mooring joke 4 times, I can make the Kuwait joke.
Well, according to Dan, it's a bad mooring because we can't find it.
Oh.
I hope the person from Kuwait heard that, and I hope they appreciated it. If they did, then that's all I needed to hear.
I'll let you know if they write in.
Thank you.
It looks so cold. It looks cold out on the deck.
Yeah.
It is.
I hope everyone's alright out there.
Ah, we got all our jackets and stuff.
Yeah, you guys are Canadians. You guys are hardy.
I don't know about that.
Doing what we can.
I live in Canada, but my blood is tropical.
Danny, do me a favor. Come down 5 meters.
Coming down 5 meters.
We do 20. We don't do 24. Sorry, let me read it. Do you work 24-hour in shifts? Yes. Yes, we do. We can dive anywhere between 12 p.m. and 12 a.m. So our shifts work differently depending on what position you are in. So for example, our ROV pilots work 12-hour shifts, 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. or 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. Our navigator, video engineer, and science communicators work 4-hour shifts. So Anna, Johan, and I are on 12 a.m. to 4 p.m. and 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Our dive leads and our data loggers also work 12-hour shifts.
There's something in front of us?
My comedy will be here all night. Sorry, not sorry.
It's a beautiful thing when you have funny coworkers.
Yeah. I just wanted to give a little shout out to Grant and Keegan. They're the ones on shore tonight. They also didn't like my pun. More haters.
Oh, look at that jelly in the cam. I think that's a helmet jelly.
Nice idea, Yuko.
Where?
Thanks. I'm getting the hang of it. There's a lot of critters that I'm unfamiliar with, but learning a lot already.
Yeah, you've been pretty quick on it. Like
Some of them, yeah. Some of them are more easily distinguishable than others.
Yeah, of course. But cool one.
Thanks. The corals are still very challenging for me. But
I mean,
thankfully.
there's a lot of species too that, like, unless you get them under a microscope, you'll never know what they are. Like sponges are notoriously hard for that.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like, and I know this is...
Look to your left a little bit. Or
I
turn 90 degrees to your left.
actually really appreciate learning the Latin roots of things. It just helps me comprehend the meanings of other names better and like remember them. So I don't know if that helps you, but you're a person of words, so maybe you'll like it. I don't know.
I'm a person of words, but the written word.
Yeah.
Not the spoken.
Yeah.
Deck, go for nav. Copy that, sending signal.
Yeah, like when I was learning about siphonophores, like pneumatophores with like PNEU, like pneumo, air, and for sac, like air sacs. Those are, you know, like the, inflatable kind of sections of like a manowar. And then nematocyst, N-E-M-A, nematocyst is like a stinging cell. And so, yeah, it's just, now that I have that context in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I understand the different parts of this colonial organism now. But yeah. So, yeah.
And of course, ROV pilots, if you need the chatter to quiet down, just tell us no butterflies.
Roger. Typically, if you hear the, I don't know if you got the radio back there. I don't know if you can hear the deck radio, but if Johan's talking to the bridge or the deck, it's
Got it. Okay. I don't have the radio, but
no
copy
radio button.
Yeah, sorry if I talk over you. You go.
Hey, no, not at all. Don't worry. I know the hierarchy in the control van. I respect it.
We try to as well, but sometimes we gotta do what we gotta do.
Yeah, we're all here for the mission. I have a viewer here wondering how much cable is out this time for the transducer, so stand by for that information.
Are they doing the math for us?
I would imagine they'll put the same number out whenever they came up with last time, 60 meters.
Hopefully they mark the cable.
Yeah.
So they don't have to measure again.
They might try and do 2 different measurements. Nautilus is noisy, so they have to put out quite a bit of cable to get down below the ship's thrusters.
Yeah.
We have a viewer who is doing the math as the operation continues. So,
Yes. Thank you, viewer.
if if the ROV pilots don't mind, or sorry, if Johan, you don't mind reading out the numbers on SPL when you get them, that would be lovely.
Sure thing.
I respect people who do math for fun.
Yeah.
I do really respect you guys.
I'm jealous.
Me too. I wish I had a stronger foundation growing up in math.
Yeah, me too. I couldn't. It was the same as my currently 16-year-old. Dad, what do I need math for? Like, how am I ever going to use this in the real world?
Everywhere.
Yeah, I try and convince him of that. And he's really good at it, too. It's almost annoying. We'll be talking about something, trying to figure it out. He'll just rattle it off the top of his head. He's like worked that out in his head. I see Jake doing that in here all the time. We'll be talking about a math question, and you'll see Jake kind of gets this look on his face, and then he gets a little smile. So he's figured it out in his head, and he knows the answer, but he's not saying anything.
Oh, that's the worst. Don't hold the answer to yourself. Ooh, this is an interesting question. Would the noise from Hercules interfere with the transponder like the Nautilus noise?
Yeah, absolutely. Hercules and Atalanta make all kinds of noise there. We have 3 of our own sonars pinging away in the water, and then we have 20 horsepower 20 horsepower electric motors spinning at 3,600 RPMs. That puts out a harmonic. We have a hydraulic pump that's being driven by the electric motor. That makes noise. And we have, how many thrusters? We got 6 Volvo hydraulic motors, spinning blades as we call them, or propellers or props. So those make mechanical noise and some kind of hydro, I don't know what the word is, but
I can't really picture what that noise would sound like.
you can actually listen to it in the data lab if you turn the sound on that computer there.
Okay.
There's a couple of microphones in both the upper and the lower camera.
Oh.
Deck, go for nav.
Got a positive response from the beacon. This is 2135.7.
We're 5 meters further away.
Copy that.
2135.
2135.7.
We have the same amount of line in the water as last time, and we're going to start recovering the transducer.
Copy that.
Oh, this viewer wrote in, would be funny if you detected a military submarine. There's actually a very interesting thing about ocean
Should we head
networks.
more west?
I don't know. Let's let Johan do the math. And sorry for our viewers. That number was 2135. So last time we got 2130. 5 meters further away. Same depth on the transducer. It's 60 meters. Keep. It's a lot of cable to put out by hand.
It is. I'm just watching them, and I'm like, I'm tired watching them.
Yeah, there's 3 of them down there doing the heave-ho.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they're going heave-ho.
I bet they're singing sea shanties as they do it.
I'm definitely singing sea shanties.
I'm disappointed. I have not heard one sea shanty since I stepped foot on the Nautilus.
What an outrage.
Oh,
Do you know any sea shanties?
I could definitely change
No.
that.
Yeah. So about the military submarine, so Ocean Networks Canada, we have coastal observatories as well. Currently we're at our deep sea observatory sites. But for our coastal observatories, we have hydrophones. These are underwater microphones. And we work with the Coast Guard as well as, I believe, the Canadian Navy to make sure we're not putting out any data that can't be put out, like submarine sounds.
Actually, the submarine would find us long before we...
Oh, yeah.
Long before we notice them, yeah. The viewer wrote in, 372 meters. Hope that helps.
Yeah, we're coming up. Thanks for that. We're coming up
Thanks for that map.
Yeah.
some similar math here. Our top scientists are all over it.
Good verification. What are you doing in your free time? I think a lot of us are just sleeping in our free time because of the... Yeah.
Getting exercise
So I think we need
keeps
to go
us, you know,
Yes.
from getting
east
too
or
antsy.
northwest.
Roger. Let's do...
We've already done northeast.
Need to move around a little bit
Yeah.
after you've been sitting for hours.
Yeah.
Well, approximately
I've been using the
400
rowing
meters,
machine.
so
Yeah, me too.
I don't know if I'm doing
might
it
not
right.
have gone far enough.
I've been walking around the van on the upper
Yeah.
deck
Let's head that way, Danny.
in
Which way,
circles.
northwest?
I think so. We've been northeast already, right?
Yeah.
Roger.
Yeah, not at this range, but because it would be approximately 400 meters northwest.
How far did we
Northeast.
get? How far have we come south?
From our most northerly,
Yeah, when we turned the corner there.
we have come 130 meters.
Let's do what was our last step to the west? How far was that?
Can you repeat?
How far was our last step to the west?
We went a total of 83 meters, 80 meters.
And so sounding like 315 to me. I mean, we could step west again and then go north, or we could cheat if you think it's quite a ways away. But we might as well it would be safer for us, probably. Well, we could get lined up to go anyway. It would be tragic if we cut the corner and somehow missed it. So
Copy.
there's two options there.
Didn't you exercise?
I would probably favor doing another step to the west, whatever, 2 steps or 3 steps, and then head north.
What? Yeah, so based on the horizontal distances we calculated.
I'm going to step off comms for a minute to discuss with AJ.
All right, since the ROV pilots are stepping off comms, I want to take a moment to say thanks for doing the math, viewer. We did get your answer, and it was helpful in verifying our math in the control van. And also thank you for the equation that you submitted as well. I'll try to get that to our pilots. Yeah, and just to let everyone know, we are coming up to shift change, and there's quite a bit of action in the control van right now as we figure out where the mooring is. So right now on this current line that you're hearing me on the science party line, it is just myself, Steph, and Anna as our pilots and watch lead discuss what our next steps are. And if you're just tuning into the live stream, we are diving at Endeavour. We're just above Endeavour vent field main vent field right now. And our first objective for this dive is actually to locate a 230 meter tall mooring that was deployed earlier in the cruise. Unfortunately, the beacon on this mooring is not responding to our calls, so we just lowered a transducer, which basically chats with the acoustic release that's on the bottom of this mooring, so we can get a position for this device, or this line of devices. Yeah, during these expeditions, especially in operation heavy expedition like ONC Abyss, unexpected things can pop up, like beacons suddenly decided to rebel against us. But thankfully, we have a very talented and honestly very, very smart team on board the Nautilus to find a solution on the fly. Yeah, and if you want to keep up with... Good night, Anna. If you want to keep up with kind of the different objectives and what we're doing while on the Nautilus, please follow Ocean Networks on social media. That's where we'll be posting some snippets of the different instruments we use, what we're doing on deck, because there isn't any sound on our deck camera. And when we're not diving, we are often on deck doing deck work. Do we have a replacement beacon? Oh, 1 sec here. Hey, Ashley, your mic is hot, just an FYI.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
It's my 5th time going
The
good.
5th time.
5th time, good morning. 5th time in 4
Good
hours.
morning gets so much positive feedback, and Kuwait did not. Not the country, but my pun, just
but
to
your
be
pun,
clear.
yes. Do we have a replacement beacon to put on it when you find it? I am actually unsure if we have a replacement beacon. I know we have a number of beacons that we mobilize onto the Nautilus, but I will make sure to get that question to our dive lead whenever we're done planning and strategizing. So if you're watching on nautislive.org or on YouTube, our channel 3 feed is our quad camera view. So there you can see Hercules cam, Atalanta cam. You can also see the one of the control van cam where our team is discussing next steps. And the fourth camera view is of the back deck. Yeah, and Ashley is the video engineer for this shift. Ashley, feel free to change any of the quad cam view. We had some deck work earlier, so we threw it up on there for our viewers.
Cool, thanks.
I hope you had a good rest before your shift.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, so we did a lot of math earlier to try to find the beacon, or sorry, try to find a mooring.
No luck, huh?
We'll see. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm manifesting. It's summer solstice. Manifesting is top of mind.
Maybe we can see the moon.
Yeah, when I actually started my shift earlier, it was very beautiful out on the back deck. The moon was really bright.
Was it hitting your eye like a big pizza pie? Be here all night, folks.
Oh my gosh. Wow, I did not know the camera on the deck can go that far, Ashley. That's so cool.
Are we getting a night shot?
We are, we're getting a night shot.
Oh, nice.
The moon is super bright. Nice zoom. That's a pretty amazing camera. All right, so my replacement, or I shouldn't say my replacement, the next science communicator is is in the control van. So you might hear the line go very quiet on the feed. We are still here. We are just doing a bit of shuffling.
Come up a bit, Danny, and we'll get in your box there, and we'll keep that Herc on the sonar. Just so we don't have any ghost images, or
Yeah.
we're not confusing people.
15 meters good?
Yep. You can come up a bit more actually and keep it in both sonars so we know the sonars are doing their job. You're a bit out too far. Slide to the north a little, 10 meters south of Atalanta. I usually just change my head and kind of fly that way. If the current's pushing you south as we go west, you can kind of crab, you know.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, if you make your heading like 285 or 300 or something, and you're flying forward and the current's pushing you south.
Yep.
As opposed to using your laterals.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good morning.
Morning, Lynette.
Welcome to the world's greatest treasure hunt.
It is.
Ooh.
Johan's been quite busy over there.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's try a 50 meter move this time. We're gonna live large.
Roger. Bridge nav. Good morning. Can we have 50 meters west, please? Thank you.
Lynette, you stole my line. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
No, bad morning.
Well, we can't give up just yet.
No, bad morning.
Bad mooring, yes.
Yeah, can't find it.
Can't find it. Have we tried Marco Polo?
Actually, we have.
Oh,
And
okay.
we are playing Marco Polo right now, actually.
Oh, I see. Who's Marco, who's Polo?
So,
It depends. We've got 4 Marcos. We're trading.
Excellent.
So what we were actually looking for this beacon is we have a transponder on it that, not a USBL, but a acoustic release. And with the transducer, we put it in the water, we ping it, and it'll tell us a general idea of distance to that beacon. And now we're trying to figure out which direction to go. So we're going in several directions and pinging it to figure out if we've gone away from it or gotten closer to it.
I see. And so did the transducer detect it?
Yes.
Cool.
So basically we're wandering around in a big dark field with a very dim flashlight and hoping we find what we're looking for.
200 meters of cable, give or take.
We're going to find it. I feel good about it. I feel good about it.
You haven't been sitting here for 4 hours.
Yeah, Lynette, I love your fresh positivity. It's
I was going to say, I feel great. We're going to find it.
You're stretched a bit tight there.
Yep, backing off.
I see.
So is the ship moving?
Ship is,
Yes,
but
it
Atlanta's
is.
not.
Ship is moving 0.3. Do you want to speed it up?
No, I don't want to get. So we're living a bit dangerously here. We have Hercules and possibly Atalanta are below the top of the mooring depth, possibly. So if you take into account the change in bathymetry,
Yep.
the error in the bathymetry, so we're taking the error out so we don't inadvertently fly over it and miss it at the risk of running into it.
Roger.
So we have Atalanta basically 10 meters above what that minimum altitude would be, or maximum depth. So if we do see it, we're likely going to have to come up. We were doing baby steps at 20 meters, so we wouldn't swing Atalanta into it. And hopefully Herc finds it first.
Yep.
But
Roger.
it's highly likely that we'll see it and fly right past it, so Hercules could miss it by, 5 meters. If we miss it, it's going to be hard to pick up with the mooring line and the sonars. You're probably going to see it in that tritech there, the lower monitor, but we could easily miss it, especially if we're talking about fireflies after 4 hours of, it's a bit.
I don't know, I'm kind of liking this third-person video game I've been playing.
Yeah, but anyways, the danger, we're risk, taking some risk to try and expedite finding it as we usually do. But we're trying to manage that risk, and one of the ways of managing it is to reduce the layback on Atalanta or do the baby step. So one of the changes that we just now did, we were doing 20-meter moves, but we're going to do a 50-meter move. So AJ and Jeb and Jake have paid out manually 60 meters of transducer line twice already. We've gotten a couple ranges to the acoustic release. So we think it's either to the northwest or the northeast. So we're going to try and scoot over to the west. And at some point we'll do another deucer range and see if we're closer or further away. But meanwhile, if you take into account all the error in the USBL, the error in the bathymetry, the error of the transducer, it's that 400-meter circle we come into. If you change the tolerances to one extreme or the other, it could easily be right in front of us. So we're hoping for the best, planning for the worst kind of thing. And so that will also allow us to continue our methodical search grid. So we've basically done, I'm just going to pick some random numbers, 100 meters north, 100 meters west, 100 meters south. Now we're doing another 100 west. And Atlanta's looking out 100 meters in theory, but again, it's looking for
a string.
A very thin mooring line. So we're trying to hold the depth of Atalanta where it lights up the top of the mooring, which is a good sonar target if we're at the right depth. If we're 5 or 10 meters too high or too low, we won't see the top of the mooring, and we could easily not pick up the mooring line in our sonars.
Can you tell me the mooring height again?
230 meters.
230 meters, roger.
So we're trying to kind of keep Hercules in a optimum depth below Atalanta to monitor Hercules in the sonar there. It's a 20-meter range ring. So you kind of see 2 dots there. We're also trying to keep Hercules and Atalanta in an arrow straight line in the direction that we move. So if we do fly by it with Hercules, we don't catch it with our tether, and we'll see it in Atalanta and have time to just bring both of them up. And we'll have approximately 1 to 2 minutes to do that before the 6-8 is swinging into it.
All right, that 50-meter ship move is done.
Roger.
How would you like to proceed? Do you want to let Atalanta swing in?
Yeah, that's what we've been doing, just not to get too much of an offset.
Yep, roger.
And then Danny's needs to adjust his, he's playing with his distance between Atalanta. He's basically managing the tether. We're trying to keep Atalanta at a constant depth. So one of the things we're doing, Lynette, is we're looking at the current bathymetry where Atalanta is and trying to add 230 meters and then another 10, and that's been our target Atalanta depth.
Roger.
With Herc 10 meters below that, so in theory Herc will run right into the top of the float, and we'll see that visually in one of the 4 cameras that we have looking ahead. It's likely that we'll just stumble upon it visually and not ever see it in the sonars, depending on our depth. Because again, the bathymetry is pretty radical here, so it's a little more challenging when we're going east or west, because all the bathymetry lines are all the lines are northeast, southwest, as they typically are out here. Or 030 and 210. I don't know how much they're changing over our 50-meter run there. Like, has it gone downhill?
Should we do another 50?
Let's just give it a few minutes for. Again, we want to kind of minimize that layback. So if you did,
Hey Lynette, can you hear data
if you did fly up to it right
off of
now,
SPL?
I cannot hear data.
Have time to catch it.
yeah, then we could just do what we need to do in the morning. We don't have to then move the ship back and try and reacquire it.
Makes sense.
I'm turning you up. Okay, yep. Oh, okay, yep, I got you. Hold on. Yep.
It would help to turn on some more lights on Atlanta. Current's definitely pushing us to the south there, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Then after every ship move, we were kind of looking where Atlanta is now and trying to update that 230 plus 10 number.
Roger.
Especially on the east-west moves.